Okay, we need to talk about this because nobody is really telling you this. And yes, it might sound arrogant and aloof, but as a projector, as a sixth line on the roof, a couple of years, and as a defined ego, this is, I am the most qualified to talk about it. And what I want to talk about is the symptoms of expansion and growth, personal development, identity shifts. What actually happens is that you are outgrown your circles. What actually happens if you are a person that self-identifies with growth mindset, you do the spiritual work, you do the inner work, you have goals, you're ambitious, you outgrow your circles super quickly, including your clients and your mentors. So someone has to tell you about this. Someone has to normalize this, that you don't feel guilty about it. And also that you stop settling and staying in the rooms and circles that are just, especially if you're like me and you're not even the same person anymore, like at the beginning of the year. This year, and it started for me already last summer, has been so quickly, so mind-blowing, so much change and growth that happened. And I'm all of my friends, all of my clients, all of my peers saying the same. And what actually happened was not that my business and my brand expanded and a lot of things fell away, cleared out, released, bye, just ciao. What also happened is that my consciousness, my awareness, my psychic, supernatural, I would say my auric awareness, my intuitive gifts, my energetic gifts, my consciousness just exploded. So many things I'm now aware of that I wasn't aware of, and most aren't. And that is the new normal as we go into the new paradigm. So let's talk about the typical symptoms that are happening that I want to normalize. And it's okay. It's okay to grow. It's actually your job to grow. That's why you're here. Your soul is here to grow and expand and remember who she is and that she's divine from the creator and so much more than just what you have been born into and believed into is possible. But that requires also you to let go, leave the locations, environments, and circles, and also clients, offers, business model, beliefs around what you should be doing, not should be doing, like all that deconditioning process, and look for new opportunities, environments, and communities that are not the masses, not the online, not the zooming out, meaning Zoom, sitting on Zoom and just networking online. It's real, raw, in person that you can touch and hug each other, but also where you are, figured in the best way. I had so many conversations lately, and I've experienced myself that once I meet someone, because our aura, our mechanics, when you elevate your alignment, your consciousness, your energy, you magnetize, no matter where you are, the right people to you. And usually they get you, but they're here and there are rare. So once you are in the spaces, and I've been in those spaces in Miami, and I've looked for it for month and month and month. So I was in Miami. I've been to 4 different events, and even in the biggest event where there were over 200 women in the room, there were just a few who are really on the same plane. And I mean on the plane of level of consciousness. And this is where the aloofness, the arrogance can come in. And I don't want to talk about the spiritual ego that I'm better than you because I see things that you can't. I'm just a projector. But we know that this new era is all about a new consciousness. And I see myself as someone, and this is really my big mission, to bring that new consciousness, that new awareness, a new perspective, how we see life, how we live, how we lead, and how we lead ourselves and our businesses and others through the work of human design and Kabbalah to women entrepreneurs and men as well. But I feel like the men are keep catching up. Now, even today, I had a conversation with a former client of mine. She made massive breakthroughs, and even coming out of years of searching, seeking, and now arriving. And I was like, where are those people? I want to be in this deep craving. And this is where I say it is normal that you have those symptoms. that you crave the circles that you can have those conversations, where you feel expanded, where you feel like they're even further ahead than you are, not just business wise, not just revenue wise and income wise or impact and influence and followers. It's about the consciousness, a different perspective, or further ahead in some areas that you are not. And where you can, challenge yourself, where you get edged, where you get shown where your blocks are. And because I was seeking that. I came back from Miami, I'm sitting here in this beautiful space, but it can feel fucking lonely. Yes. And you probably feel lonely too. So I am a person, if I don't find it here, I'm the one who is creating it. And so I am creating exactly that space for conscious female entrepreneurs, leaders who are at a level of, spiritual consciousness, but also super grounded, ambitious, driven, knowing that our business is our vessel to impact the lives. We're rooted with both feet in the business and life. We're not floating up somewhere here and doing the spiritual woo-woo talk, but also are faith-led, God anchored, intuitive, guided, and auric aware, conscious about what's going on and that everything is changing. And it's not just everything is changing, it's changing for a reason. It's by design. And you get it. And I'm creating that for myself because I'm craving it, and for women like you who are looking for this, and where you feel really met and seen and recognized at a level of auric intelligence, mental intelligence, but also body, emotional intelligence, where you really feel like, yeah, this is the space where I can grow, but also where I'm seen and where I can show all sides of me without you filtering yourself, translating things, or feel like, you know what, I don't want to waste my time and energy and words to explain what I'm going through, because most people don't get you. The work that we're doing internally with our business, with our mission, most people don't get it because it's a different reality. It is a different reality. It's a different energy. And I know that there are so many more than us out there, but someone has to stand up and say, hey, I'm creating something. Let's come together. That was what happened in Miami. And everyone was like, oh my God, I want more of this. Let's connect more. And here in Europe, there's not much. So I'm creating it. And there are 2 events coming up in Munich. And then at the end of the year and the beginning of the year here at my house. So if you are craving a space where you can land and expand, meaning this is where you feel expanded and can grow and have conversation that go deep, but are on a consciousness level where you're met, and still room to grow together, inspire each other, co-create, look at and discuss things, not just problems, but really big visions, then this is definitely for you if you're feeling it here. On the 25th or the 1st of November, I'm kind of planning out these dates because I want the right woman in at the table, having a seat at the table. And one seat can be for you. And I'm not so locked into the dates. I really look at who would be a great fit to make sure it's really at that level and who is available when. And I know there's a lot of people have things going on and you want to plan. So DM me the word by design. It's going to be a by design brunch and business workshop day together where we come together, we have those conversations, and those are connections and conversations that last and they go beyond just that one day. I have already so many ideas what we can do and build together. So just send me the word by design. I'm going to send you more information. But if this resonates with you, that is the room that you have been probably craving and your soul has asking. If you were looking for a sign, this is the sign. And now let's dive into a couple of signs and symptoms that you might be experiencing right now in your life that are not coming from a not self or a misalignment. It's just the effects of you growing and expanding. And I don't want you to feel guilty or bad about it or unseen and lonely, but I also want to encourage to keep, and empowering you in your desire to have those conversations. And I actually think that if you don't claim that level and keep still one foot in old circles, you're blocking your further expansion and growth. And also financially in your business, the business growth, because it has an effect. And I notice it myself. It has an effect how you show up, who you engage with, whose energy you take in, who you work with, has an effect about the topics you talk about, has an effect on the content you create, how you show up online, who you talk to, how it influences your brand. And I'm gonna tell you, you keep settling. You keep yourself limited in really showing up fully in your power because you're always more busy with guiding and serving and having those conversations. They're not big enough. Those conversations are not big enough. And your clients are, if you want those bigger clients coming in, this is what you need to look into. The room that you are in will keep you accountable, keep you at a level of conversations, ideas, and content that will infuse your brand. If you don't have this, you always keep a level lower, and that attracts a certain level of client. And you have to decide what that is that okay for you, or what do you want? What do you want to grow into? But I'm gonna tell you that for me, it made a big difference. And I wanted to be in circles, in rooms where there is about expansion. And then I asked myself and audited myself about where am I not showing fully up in my power and where am I not showing that online. And it wasn't my content, wasn't my brand. So I thought, if those rooms pull up and the women who are there and the men who are there, if they pull up my Instagram, if they pull up my podcast and listen to it, and I'm talking about people not getting seen and, helping them get their clients, like those conversations and topics are not relevant for those circles. And they are not at that level of consciousness that I usually talk about with my besties. So I brought all that. I went all into only showing up from that level of advancedness, consciousness that maybe not everybody gets. Yeah, so what? But on a frequency level, those people are interested, and it's curiosity that if something is new and different, this is what they want. The curiosity of something new, something innovative, something groundbreaking, something different, and that opens the door to pull those people in and together, and then you infuse each other with newness, and that expands. And that is where we feed off this, oh my God, this aliveness. Projectors feel recognized. Manifestors suddenly get their urge and have the downloads and run and are not stuck in frustration and boredom and bitterness and all this sacral stuckness. Manifesting generators feel often slowed down by their current circles. They want to break out, but if you are ready to pivot and you feel, like a couple of other mechanics come in, if you feel guilty to leave people behind, or that you're suddenly, people say you're arrogant, or that people have expectations that you are not willing to meet anymore. So all that comes up. But if you are in the right circle, you can quickly release that, and generators can build something new and feel the joy and the satisfaction of it, instead of the frustration that you feel you're always slowed down and bored and kind of in this stucky sameness. We don't want that anymore. And releasing and letting go of, I made that decision of letting go even the thought that I had to offer and serve everyone. While I know I was meant to lead at a different level, also of the consciousness level. That took a couple of months to decide that. But once I did it, a new fractal opened up. And so much energy got released. And actually, it was a heaviness on my chest that I didn't even know existed, because I kept energetically feeding people who are not moving like me, who are not aware like me, who hold a lot of victimhood and a self-image of, I cannot do it, or I'm afraid to be seen and all that. And that's not me. So I always even talked about topics where, like, yeah, you feel too much, you feel different, whatever, in those circles that I'm craving and creating and I'm now investing in, big energy is normal. big vision is normal. Big money is normal. You want to normalize that. And then it becomes your norm, your current standard. And this is what I want to create. And you are invited if this is something that you're looking for. So make sure you message me after you watch this to get the information about the upcoming events or future events. A couple of symptoms that I want to run quickly so that you can see if that is you and if that what I'm creating is for you. So you are on, let's say, the other side of a massive void, transformation, identity shift, releasing, purging, realignment, adjustment, deconditioning into who you truly are. And now you're kind of not the same person anymore. And all the circles don't fit anymore, including your mentors. Yeah. The next thing is that feels really lonely because most don't get you what you're going through, but you are craving the conversation with someone who gets you and where you don't have to explain yourself, because that is really fucking draining your energy. And you want to get more energy to work through still the things that will always come up. Then, of course, you're the biggest in the room, in your friend's room, in your client's room, in even the mastermind you're in or the coaching spaces you're in, you're the biggest. That can feel comfortable. You can source your confidence from it, but it also keeps you at the same level. So you are actually stalling in your income and in your alignment. And if your frequency doesn't expand, if your consciousness doesn't expand, your inspiration doesn't expand, you're not innovative. If you're a manifestor, you always feel like people are robbing a piece, as just an example. And you don't see the bigger money coming in, the bigger clients coming in, the bigger opportunities coming in. And so you are as well spiritually, seekers and growth oriented, but also ambitious and driven. And you don't fit into the camp of the spiritual ones, the woo ones, me neither. And you're also not in the bro league of hustle, and you have to push yourself. So there's this new consciousness of leaders coming to, like, a new generation. That's the new era leaders. And this is probably you. And so the circles and the events and the spaces that I'm creating is exactly for those types of leaders, entrepreneurs, because there will be more of us, but we want a different. We are different. So the last thing is that you have, where is it? You're ahead of time. You always feel ahead of time. That's the thing. You're creative. You get the downloads. You want to be more channeling instead of competing, but then co-creating and having, the clients and the cash come in. And these are gifts that are ahead of time. And so, of course, you don't fit in. And so we are now creating the new circles. And this is the normal process, the normal symptoms of expansion, especially around consciousness. And I wanted to normalize that. And if this sounds familiar, I want to invite you to join one of my events. Just DM me, because this will be exactly what you have asked for, promised, and it will expand you even more. So let's recap that and normalize it and stop settling and start even more claiming that level. Okay? So, gonna see you soon.